Good morning, friends. Yesterday, we have successfully completed demo day one, where we discussed about what is business intelligence, what is the outcome of the business intelligence, and a few miscellaneous things, and why MSBI, even though we have so many BI tools available in the market. So these three and a few miscellaneous topics that we discussed in our last session. And in today's session, I'm going ahead with the next level. Sir, Microsoft Business Intelligence. Microsoft Business Intelligence. Right. Tools. What are the MSBI tools, sir? First one is SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. Okay. This is an ETL, also data integration tool. And the second one is SSRS, SQL Server Reporting Services. Data visualization tool from Microsoft. SSIS, SQL Server Analysis Services. You can analyze the data in tabular model or multidimensional model. We have two different models. We will be having a deep dive into each of the component. But at present, I'm going to start with the SQL Server Integration Services. That is SSIS. Okay, guys? Right. Right. Sir, initially, as part of SSIS, I would like to start with SSIS architecture. What it covers? It covers core components of SSIS. What are the core? Listen, guys, it's a very, very important interview question. And you should know how the components, what components we have, and how the components are interacting each other. Right. Listen. What are the core components of SSIS? The first one is SSIS runtime engine. And the second one is data flow pipeline engine. These two are the core engines of SSIS. Okay. Sir, I'm not going to explain now. Why? Because I need to give some background. What do you mean by background? Okay. First of all, I need to explain versions of SQL Server, which internally covers versions of MSBI, because MSBI is a built-in component of your SQL Server. Yeah, that is the meaning of first two S stands for in all three tools, SQL Server. Okay, versions of SQL Server, which in turn covers versions of MSBI. Sir, SQL Server 2000 version, where we used to have like a DTS packages. We used to design DTS packages, and file extension is DTS. DTS full form is Data Transformation Services. And second version is SQL Server 2005. This is the first version of BI stack from Microsoft Corporation, where you have MSBI. Guys, 1 second, Amma. 1 second. I'm just making. All right. So, SQL Server 2.5 is the first MSBI stack, right? Where it contains SSIS, SSRS, and SSIS. And that's where exactly I started my career. That was in the year of 2004 on MSBI. So here we have SSIS, and the file extension is DTSX. And now, that's where exactly they keep adding the different versions, right? 2005, 2008 R2 released 2 version, and 12 14, 16, 17, and then 19 as well. So this is what we are going to focus on. So here in MSBI, what is the first version of MSBI? 2005, SQL Server 2005. Here the file in SSIS, the file extension is .dtsx. You can ask me a question, my dear friends. In 2000, in the version of 2000, the file extension was DTS, Data Transformation Services. But where exactly the X came into the picture, right? If you see Excel file extensions are .xls, sorry, .xls and .xlsx as well. What is the difference between these two? These two is Excel 97 to 2003 version, and this is starting from Excel 2007 onwards. This is extension of the previous version. This is extension of the previous version. In the same way, X means extension of the previous version. Hope that works for you guys. Hope that works, guys. Jyoti, Pawan, Rekha, Vinay.
Yes, sir. Still very clear.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, ma. Let's make it more interactive, amma. That's what I keep on saying. Right. Next one. Friends, where do we write the C# coding, amma? Where do we write C# coding?
Visual Studio.
Yeah. Where do we write the SQL Server stored procedures queries?
Management Studio.
Server Management Studio. Right? And where do we write Java code? Eclipse. Right? But where do we write MSBI coding? MSBI tools operations? That's where exactly Visual Studio for SQL Server data tools. That is nothing but SSD. So what are these things? Visual Studio, SQL Server Management Studio, Eclipse, Visual Studio for SQL Server data tools. What are these things? IDEs. IDE, Integrated Development Environments. See, if you want to achieve something, you need the environment, right? So these are the IDEs. Because friends, we started with something and discussing something. No, all are interrelated. I'm going to open this Visual Studio for SQL Server data tools and then explain these two. That's what my intention is. Okay, now open it. Now open it. Or else you can see that here. Come on, apps. Most frequently used apps. Don't have that? Okay, fine. Yeah, this is the one. Visual Studio 2017 for SSDT. Visual Studio 2017 for SSDT. SSDT full form is SQL Server Data Tools. Yes. So I'm trying to open the integrated development environment where the developer creates the ETL workflows, reports, and the data analysis process. Yes. Come on. Right. This is how the Visual Studio looks like. Now, friends, I'm going to create a new project. Yes, new project here. These are the recently created projects for my earlier batches. So it's trying to create the templates for us. Initially, it takes a little while, and then once the project got loaded, yes. Okay. Friends, if you remember, we discussed in our last session what exactly under MSBI integration services project, what it does. This project may be used for building high performance data integration data integration, and ETL operations for our data warehousing system. So I'm trying to create a new project. So what is the flow, friends? Go to project menu, file, new project simply. What type of project that you would like to create? Integration Services Project, SSIS project. So this is the project name. Sir, where this project will get created? Under the specific location. What could be the name of the project? What would be the name of the project? SSIS morning 7 a.m. underscore September 17th. That is the name of the project. Click OK. Right. It's creating the project with the specific name. Right. Okay, guys. This is how the total SSIS environment looks like. It is still loading. Right. Yes. Hey, guys. What is the file extension number? What is the file extension? DTSX. That is what exactly we discussed. The file extension is .dtsx. Data Transformation Services, the extension of the previous version. That is how the Microsoft works. Okay. Sir, listen. I want to go for a vacation, sir. I want to start from Hyderabad to Chennai, Chennai to Ooty, Ooty to Kodaikanal, Kodaikanal to Kurgu, Kurgu to Bangalore, Bangalore to Mysore, Mysore to Bangalore, Bangalore to Hyderabad again. So it's like a circular journey. In that case, you can go for a package. So your package includes different locations, and each location has its own significance. In the same way, my package is having different types of tabs: control flow, data flow, parameters, event handlers, package explorers. Each tab has its own definition and functionality. Now go back. Let's go back to our core. Right. In SSIS architecture, we have two major components. One is SSIS runtime engine, and second one is data flow pipeline engine. Right? What are the functionalities of SSIS runtime engine? What it does means it can handles all the activities of control flow and event handles of SSIS package. Yes, it handles all the activities of your control flow and event handlers of SSIS package. What is the content of the control flow? What you can see here? What exactly it contains? Means control flow and event handlers contains tasks and containers. Now see, currently where are we now? Control flow. Right? You can see blue mark here. Control flow. In control flow, this is how the toolbox looks like. How it contains all the tasks. What do you mean by task? Task means an action. Having tea is a task. Having lunch is a task. Sleeping is a task. Listening to music is a task. Watching TV is a task that we perform in a 24 hours of a time. In the same way, sending a mail, uploading your resume to Naukri, these are the different activities that we perform in a 24 hours of a time. Guys, am I going faster, ma? Can someone confirm it?
No, sir. No.
Is that fine?
No, sir.
It is comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, totally fine.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Right? Right. So, task means an activity. For example, I have a package. Last night, I executed the package, but unfortunately, it's got failed. But I want to send a mail to my business users saying that, hey, last night, as part of last night execution, your package got failed. Technical support team is looking into that, and I'll keep you posted the status. That's what I want to convey. How do we do that? Send mail task. Task is an activity. What kind of activity that you are trying to perform? Sending a mail. Yes, send mail task is an activity. You got it now? Emma?
Yes.
Task means an activity that can be executed. For example, data flow task. You can execute the individual tasks as well. Come on, place it. Just drag and drop it. See, I want to execute this task. Right click on that. Execute task. Only that particular task will get executed by the SSIS package. By SSIS package. Come on, man. Right. It's got successfully completed. Right? Now stop it. Right. Right. Okay. Now, for example, I want to execute a stored procedure or else a normal query or select start from employee table. So by using SSIS, that can be achieved by using execute SQL task. It is clearly stating that it can execute a SQL statement, right? Drag and drop it. So we have so many tasks. Each task has its own significance, right? Okay. So task is an activity. Is an activity which can be executed individually or else along with the package. You can execute as an individual task or else these tasks will get executed when you execute the package. When you execute the package. Are you clear on this statement, Amma? Are you clear on the statement?
Yes.
These words should be no, justified here. Yeah. Are you clear, Amma? Are you clear on the point?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Amma. Next, containers. Containers. For example, guys, observe here, Amma. For I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I is equal to I plus 1. We have statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, statement 4. Right. Sir, we have something. Hey, what we call this as? What we call it as?
For loop.
For loop. For loop. This for loop can execute these 4 statements multiple number of times, looping, right? Until the condition becomes false. So this is acting like a container which contains statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, statement 4. Here statement 1 performs an activity. Activity is nothing but a task 1. Yeah. Right. Right. So if you want to iterate collection of tasks in a package, we go ahead and implement this. Right? For loop container. We have for loop container. We have for loop container. And for each loop containers and sequence containers. Okay. I'll make use of sequence container. Friends, I'm staying in a flat number 401. Do you think 401 is like a single room or else it's been partitioned into multiple rooms? Yes, it's been partitioned into multiple rooms. Kitchen, main bedroom, second is the children's bedroom, guest bedroom, restrooms, balconies, hall, something like that. Because every room has its own significance. Puja room, right? In the same way, your total package can be divided into small pieces. Each piece of segment has its own functionality. If you see here, we have different containers. All the containers are having their own functionalities. So the purpose of the container is to divide control flow functionality into multiple discrete segments. It is to divide the control flow functionality into small pieces. Guys, clear amma? Guys, clear amma?
Clear, clear.
Yeah. Next one, data flow. Sarji, let me close this. Right. Sarji, observe here amma. Currently, where are we now? Control flow. I want to navigate to data flow. It is scrolling wells. Hey, you are trying to enter into the theater without having ticket. You are navigating from control flow to data flow without having data flow tasks. That's what it is saying. No data flow tasks have been added to this package. Click here to add a new data flow task. Right. So let us add it. What it does, it allows us to navigate from control flow to data flow. See, you are trying to define the data flow functionality. What do you mean by data flow? All right, simple amma. This is Krishna river and this is my home. Do you think Krishna river water directly comes to my home? No, it looks like a flood. Okay, first Krishna river water comes to reservoir. Okay, how Krishna river water comes to reservoir? Through Wi-Fi? No, pipeline. This is the pipeline, and here we apply some chlorine operations. Okay, first, do you think Krishna river water is ready to drink? No, it's a raw water. It is not at all ready for our drinking purpose. Okay, you take the Krishna river water, the water will be flown through the pipeline to the reservoir where we apply some chlorine operations to avoid unwanted bacteria, and filtered, fully formatted water will be circulated to across all the homes available in the city. So this is my source system where we have the raw data, which is not at all useful for my business purpose, right? And this data must be transformed, processed, transformation, or else processing the business data. Processed data must be loaded into the destination system. So this is your extraction. Extracted data must be traversed to transformation. Transformed data must be traversed to destination. So destination is nothing but loading. So ETL process. All right. Data now here the data is flowing from source to destination via transformation. But how the source data is coming to transformation area? Through pipeline. Here, what flows over here? This is also a pipeline. What flows over here? Water. But here, this is also a pipeline. What flows over here? Data. That's the reason we call it as a data flow pipeline. What it does, it describes, hey, from where are you trying to extracting the data? Data flow sources. Right? From where you try to extract the business data. Data flow transformations, where you can apply some transformations. And where are we going to load the data? Destinations. Loading. So you tell me, where do we perform the actual ETL operations? In which tab? See that now? Where are we now? Data flow. In data flow, you can see sources from where we can extract the business data. Use one or more data flow sources to extract the data from file system or else databases. Guys, if you remember yesterday, we extracted the data from Excel, Oracle, DB2, different databases and file systems as just example, right? Okay, extracted data must be transformed. transformed data must load into the destination system. Emma, clear?
Clear, sir, clear.
Right. So when you navigate from control flow to data flow, you see some changes in the toolbox. What is the change? When you are in control flow, you can see tasks and containers. When you navigate from control flow to data flow, you see the changes in the toolbox. What is the change here means? In data flow tab, you can see data flow sources, data flow transformations, and data flow destinations, where you can perform the actual ETL process, extraction, transformation, and loading process. All right. Emma? All right, sir. Sir, next one, connection manager. What do you mean by connection manager? Right, let me write it here. I'll share this material, Amma. This is running notes, class running notes. I'll share this with you. I'll share with you guys. Connection manager. Sir, I'm in Hyderabad, sir. My parents are from Elur, West Godavari. Yeah, right? So now I daily call them. Now, for example, I just dial them. Now, connection has been established and conversation is going on. You tell me who provided the connectivity between myself and my parents who is staying in the remote area? Network providers.
Service providers.
Provides the connectivity between any two people. So, but do you think is there any wire between Hyderabad and Elur? No, there is no wire. So, do you think a connection manager is a logical or a physical? Logical, which you can't touch it. So, connection manager is a logical connectivity between any application and file system and databases. Let me write it here. File system and our databases. See, every day when I connect to my office, I connect to my data center. In my organization, we have data centers in two places. One is Virginia and Pennsylvania, right? So it is in North America, somewhere in America, for example, forget about North America, South America, right? So now, how I am connecting from Hyderabad to North America? Do you think there is a wire between Hyderabad ODC Center 5, ODC 5 and then North America? No. So do you think the connectivity is establishing? So do you think the connectivity is a logical or is a physical? Logical. Emma, clear?
Clear,
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Yes, sir. So what is the What is the connection manager for SQL Server, which we use very much frequently? How do you get connected to the SQL Server? First, data source. Data source is nothing but server name, SQL Server name. Okay, and initial catalog is nothing but database name. And then who provides the connectivity? Provider means driver. What is the provider which helps us in establishing the connectivity between my SSIS application and then SQL Server? SQL NCLI. SQL Server native client. I'll write it here. SQL Server native client 11.0, which is a default provider for SQL Server. Emma, clear? NCLI. N means native, CLI means client. Version is 11.0. Without this, you can't get connected to SQL Server from your SSIS application. Right. For example, I have Excel file. Then how do we get connected to that? So what is the connection manager for file system? We use both of them only, very much predominantly. File system. Now shared location or else path of the file where the file is located. Guys, clear Amma? Okay, I'll do one thing. See, connection manager. Right click here to add a new connection manager to the SSIS package. Okay, let us right click here. OLEDB connection. Emma? Right. Right. Now see, data source is equal to server name by server name. Initial catalog is equal to database name. And provider SQL Server native client 11.0 and 1 is also fine. Okay, this is nothing but integrated security SSPI means you connected using Windows authentication. What does it mean? Let's create a new connection. Come on, I want to have a new connection. See, you are trying to connect to the server, this server, welcome server, using Windows authentication. Yes, or else let me select other database. I would like to go ahead with the sequence of authentication, SCA. Now see, connection is established. Now this could be a different one. See here now. See, earlier, see here now, data source is equal to so and so, provider initial catalog is equal to database name, provider is equal to SQL Server native client. This is fine. But user ID is equal to SCA because here I used SQL Server authentication. But here, Windows authentication. This is the meaning of security, integrated security. Friends, clear Amma? Friends, clear Amma?
Clear, sir. Clear.
All right. All right. Sir, let us start the scenario only. Let us start the scenario first. Okay. A simple scenario only, which you really like it. Shall we start? Shall we start?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Sir, we have a package only, right? Okay. It's an empty package where I don't have anything. This is your design canvas. All right? Right. Sir, I want to make use of this one, sir. I need everyone participation, sir. I need participation from everyone, please. It's a very, very important question, Andy. Right. Sir, I just drag and drop this. What is this? Execute SQL task. Now, right click on this, edit. Here, sir, right click on this, edit. Here, it is asking you to provide the connection manager. Connection, new connection. I'm just considering that. And you just need to provide the SQL statement. Right, select. Some get date. Get date means it gives the current date.
Correct.
Okay. So this is my task one, first task. Right, first task. Emma? Right? Now I have another task. This is my task two. Listen, guys. Yes. So in our package, we have two different tasks. One is execute SQL task, which can execute any SQL statement. It can be select, insert, update, delete, truncate, alter. It can be anything. We have another task. Okay. Sir, how to execute this package? In Solution Explorer, select the package, right click, execute package option. Very simple. Emma? Right. Sir, when I run this package, when I execute this package, how these two tasks execution starts? What will be the mode of execution? Either parallel or sequential? Parallel or sequential? I need an answer. How these two tasks are going to get executed?
Sequential, I think.
Or else one by one. Parallel or sequential?
Sequential.
No, it's a parallel. If you don't define any dependency between these two, tasks and containers executes parallel. No dependency at all.
Simultaneously.
See that, brother. Right. I'm going to get started now. See, both the tasks execution starts at the same time. right? Same time. So what are the mode of execution, sir? Parallel. Parallel. I have a special requirement, Amma. Observe here, sir. I have a special requirement. My requirement is execution should start from execution should start from task one. Task one. If task one is successfully completed, is success, then execute task two. I want to set the dependency, right? If you successfully completed 10th class, then only go to intermediate. If task one is successfully completed, then only go ahead and execute task two, right? That's what my intention is. You select the task one because that is our entry point. Execution entry point should start from task one. Select the task one. You see an arrow mark, green arrow mark. You just drag and drop it. So green arrow mark is nothing but success. So execution starts from here. Unsuccessful completion of task one, control goes to task two. It will get triggered. It will get triggered. Now, what could be the mode of execution? Parallel or sequential? Parallel or sequential?
No sequential.
Now, sequential. Yes. I selected the wrong option. Right. No deployment. Execute the package. Execution starts from T1. Yes, T1. Right? And then T2. Right. Sometimes task one fails. If task one fails, there is failure. There. Execute task 3. Where is task 3? I would like to go ahead with the task 3. This is our task 3. But, sir, this is green arrow mark. Green means again success. Would you like to execute task 3 on successful completion of T1? No. When do you want to get triggered? See, I got fever and hey, Balaji, if the fever is between 99 to 100, have Dolo 500. If the fever is more than 101 or else 100, have 650. So I want to execute the tasks based on certain conditions. I don't want to blindly execute them. My requirement is T1 is successfully completed. Execute only T2. T1 failure, execute only T3. Then it is green arrow mark. By default green. Double click on this arrow mark. It opens a precedence constraint. Pre means before. Precedence. Before you go ahead and execute the things, you check the constraint condition. Precedence constraints. Precedence constraints helps us in defining the relationship between any two tasks, any two containers also. Okay, right. What is the default constraint? Success. That's the reason you can see a green arrow mark. I want to go ahead with the failure. Now you see a red arrow mark. Okay, right. It's a failure. Now execute the package. Yes. Even though you have 3 different tasks in your package, at any point of time, only 2 get triggered. Guys, are you following, Amma?
Yes, yes.
Jyoti,
Yes,
Rekha,
yeah.
Vinay,
Yes.
do you have any issues, Amma?
No, sir, it's very clear.
Okay, good. Now, friends, even though whatever you eat, even though you take biryani or chicken biryani or mutton biryani, whatever it is, we end up with curd rice, right? Right? Right. In the same way, because that is mandatory. What you you eat dal rice, you end up with curd rice. You take biryani, you end up with curd rice. So curd rice is mandatory in any cases. So I have something. I have another task. This is task 4. Task 4 should execute in all the cases. Task 1 is failed. Execute this one also. Task 1 is successfully completed. Execute this one also. That's where exactly completion will come into the picture. Third option, completion. Completion can be either success or failure. All right. Right. Completion means either success or I'm trying to add an annotation here. Either success or failure. Okay, right. Let us change it here. Okay, task 1 successfully completed. It executes task 2 and 4. Yeah, right. And task 3, 1 got failed. It executes task 3 and 4. 4 is mandated task that executes always. Always. Right. Okay. I want to make this task 1 failure. Forcefully, I remove the closed bracket. So task 1 is going to fail. In that case, I would like to hear from you. If I execute the package straight away, what tasks are going to get executed? What tasks are going to get executed?
Fail. Data flows task 3.
Task 3? That's
Yes.
it. That's it.
And 4 also.
You should say your answer should be task 1, task 3, task 4. Yes, that's what I was expecting, sir. Okay, very nice. You tried your best. Yes. Execution always starts from here, task 1. Based on the status of task 1, respective tasks will get executed. Right. Any questions, Amma, before proceed to the next point?
Where we can see the output, sir, that SQL task 1 is there.
No, dear, no, dear. We haven't captured the output, and if you want to capture the output, you have to capture the result sets where you can see 3 sections: full result set, XML result set, and single result set.
Okay.
And this output can be captured into result set, and we need to discuss about the variables. It's too early to discuss about it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, no problem, sir. You asked it and I explained it. Nothing else. Right. Yeah, clear? Okay. Sir, this is a constraint 1, success constraint, failure constraint, and compliance constraint. I would like to have another task, which is really important, and please, right. My task 5 is going to have multiple constraints: success, by default success, and success. Right. In this case, I'm giving you the problem. Task 5 is not going to get triggered. The control is not going to come to task 5. I want to know the reason from you guys. Task 5 is not going to get triggered. Yes, it's been stopped at the second layer. Why? It is successfully completed. In that case, the control come over here, should come over here. Even this is successfully completed. Control should come to here and then executed. But why it didn't happen? But
Because
why?
task 1 is failed, no, that's why it is not coming to 5.
Yes, sir. Doesn't matter. Task 1 is failed there. That's the reason.
Okay, it is success. Okay.
Yeah, this is successful.
Yes.
This is successful. You know, one thing, I need to explain something. You try to recollect your 10th class. Sir, we have task 2, task 3, task 4, right? Task 2 did not trigger. It returns false. And it uses AND condition, logical AND condition. And task 3 got successfully completed. it returns true. And this is true again. You tell me now, false and true. False and true. False and true.
Both never be false and true. Never happens that one.
No, my question is very simple and clear. False and true.
Is
True or
false.
false?
False.
False. Sir, here my constraint, my task is having multiple constraints. In that case, by default, it uses logical and condition. Right? So, false and true. False. That's the reason the control never comes to task 5. I want to change it to R condition. I want to change it to R condition in all the places. False or true?
It's obviously true.
True. Either or, one condition must be evaluated to true. So I'm going to stop this, stop the execution and select it. Anything is fine. Either this one or this one is this one. Anything is fine. You select on your own, in your convenience. Double click on this. See, if the multiple constraints, what is the default one? Logical and. In that case, all constraints must evaluate to true. Now I want to change it to R condition. Sir, currently you have solid line or else what you call it, a dotted line.
Solid line. Solid line.
Line, amma.
Solid line. Solid line.
Line. Now when I go with R, it considers as a dotted line. So when you see a dotted line in any of the package, don't scare about it. It is like a R condition. Right. Now see, task 5 got executed because this one is false. False or true. Obviously, the control comes up. Right? Yes. This is nothing but precedence constraints. Emma, clear?
Clear, clear.
Right. I'm going to mark this as precedence constraint. Precedence, pre means before. Precedence, before you proceed to the next level, constraint, check the condition. Right. Basic precedence constraints. Right. Are we good, Amma? Are we good now?
Nice, sir. Nice. Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right. Sir, next. We make use of variables very much predominantly. Variable int a is equal to 10. Okay. Here, what is intending? What is int here?
So data type.
Of the variable. What is a here?
Value. It's
What is
a
A?
star.
Name of the variable. Name of the variable. And what is 10?
Value of the variable.
Initial value of the variable. Sir, you defined data type, name and value. You defined 3 different properties. 3 different properties. Can we define any other property to a variable? Any other property that you can define? Scope. Scope, lifetime of the variable, local variable or global variable declaration. Okay, so we have variables concept in SSIS. Right click, variables. Right click on anywhere, variables. Right. First option is add variable. You can add that. See, this is the name of the variable, scope of the variable, data type of the variable, and value of the variable. Right? Here, anything can be changed. UV, What is this UV? Ultraviolet? No, user variable. I'm going to explain that. Source path. Scope cannot be changed, sir. What is the scope here? What it refers to? Basic
Package.
understand? Package name. That means this variable can be used anywhere within the current package. And data type is string. String. Based on the data type, its value will changes. Now see, it is changed. G. Okay, guys. Okay, sir. Why did I mention UV here? Sir, basically, we have two types of variables. Types of variables in SSIS. Number one, user-defined variables. System-defined variables. But sir, how to use the variables? For example, here I have A and B. Now A is equal to A plus 1. This is how we write the expression. Simple. You can directly use the expression. But how to use the variables in exercise? How to use variables? Variables in expressions and conditions in exercise. We see a slight difference and we see a slight difference, right? What is that? How do we use that? Sir, system defined variable at the rate, open and close bracket. It's a user defined variable and two columns. Variable name, right? For example, or else at the rate variable name. For example, right? I am declaring a variable called UV source path, which is of type varchar string. How to use that? Using expression. Okay, right. UV, so we need to use at the rate U. See, at the rate variable dot to string or else integer, right? Greater than 0, something like that. Okay. So we use at the rate variable or else at the rate user two scope variables, two scope resolutions is nothing but two columns is nothing but a scope resolution and then variable name. Next, system defined, you have only way. You don't have these many ways to declare. In place of user, you can use system. That's it. Here you can use system defined variable. Okay. Sir, we'll see the variable details and all on Monday session only. Okay. Right. So I'm going to stop the recording session.